Welcome to Light Warrior Session Episode 4, Healing Through Essential Oils and Inner Child Work with Meg Doll. Meg Doll is a registered holistic nutritionist, certified spiritual coach, and essential oil educator specializing in women's health, specifically mindset, emotional intelligence, and self-love. After years of battling and overcoming eating disorders, Meg discovered what self-love truly looked and felt like, and now she guides women through her self-love framework inside her small group coaching program, Back Home to You. In today's episode, Meg and I each share about our personal battles with eating disorders and the things we did to move out of body shaming and into a place of deep love for ourselves. Today's episode is brought to you by the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. You can learn more about this amazing community at cslalaska.org. Now let's dive in to today's episode. Hello. I've got Meg Doll with us today, and I am so honored and excited to have you here. Thank you so much.
Yay. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So where exactly are you? I don't know what city you're in.
I'm in Canada. That's what I usually stick to saying because no one really knows where I am other than that.
Yeah.
But I am in like the middle of Canada, north of North Dakota, in a place called Saskatchewan. That's the province that I live in.
Okay.
In a smaller town called Yorkton, Saskatchewan.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I feel like Alaska's similar, where you just say Alaska and let people assume you're in an igloo with a pet polar bear and all the things. So,
hey, people assume the exact same thing about us in Canada.
I bet. It's funny. I'm like, well, there's about 20 Starbucks in the area, but sure. Let's go with the igloo.
And people don't even realize we have summer here.
How funny.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so Meg, the first time I heard your voice, you had done a podcast, and I meant to look this up. I can't remember her full name. I believe it was a woman named Sean who has a keto podcast. Yeah. And that was the first time I heard your story, tidbits of it. And I was so drawn to you, and you were sharing a lot about an eating disorder and the recovery from that, and HA recovery, which you can explain that a bit more if you'd like, because I can't pronounce it completely. But I mean, I immediately went to your website and started following you on all the social medias, and I just felt really connected to you. And so I just want to start by saying thank you for like the courage you have and the way you show up online. So many people, we're never really sure the reality, but I think so many women are drawn to you. I'm sure you're getting messages all the time thanking you for the way that you're showing up. I mean, you're just so vulnerable and so authentic, and it really, really comes through. It's very genuine. So I appreciate you being willing to do that.
Gosh, well, thank you so much. It's also really cool to hear where you came across me or like how we got connected, because I remember starting to chat with you in the fall of last year, and I just didn't really know how we crossed paths.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I know, that's fine. You never know. And so I'm a health coach certified through Integrative Institute of Nutrition. And so I love like diving into every different diet basically. And how does keto make me feel? How does vegan make me feel? XYZ. So I had this very brief love affair with keto, but again was brief. But during that time, I listened to 100 podcasts, and yours really stood out. So, and again, it wasn't really about the keto diet. It was about you and your journey with your body. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I also know you have a really thriving essential oils business and community, the Nourish and Free Collective. And it's also been so cool to see how you share that. Here in Alaska, a lot of people are into essential oils. And so that's one reason I wanted to bring you on, because the whole purpose of this interview series is to help give people healing tools, because this year has been so bananas. And I just feel like any of us that are willing to share the things that are helping us right now, we should. And so I'd love to talk about essential oils for healing. And then I noticed you have a newer program around inner child work, and I don't know really anything about that, but I would love to hear more. So we can start wherever you want. Yeah.
Gosh, well, I feel like, I mean, aside from the podcast that you heard me on, we then connected further through essential oils. And like, that's how I feel like I know you because you
Yeah.
are part of the Nourish and Free Collective. So, yeah, I started using essential oils back in 2015. And I started, so I am a holistic nutritionist as well, which is really where my career started. And now I really don't do nutrition coaching anymore because I am a certified spiritual coach. And
Hmm.
so that's where the inner child type of healing work comes in for me. But with essential oils, I mean, I was working with my nutrition clients and I was enjoying it, but I just felt like I really needed to start, well, first expanding from just like simply focusing what's on our plate, right? Because health isn't just what's on your plate. It's about like how you're taking care of yourself. There's our mental and emotional health and just, and I know you touched on this, but I do have a history with eating disorders. My very first eating disorder was when I was 10 years old. And then I struggled with three total in my life. And luckily, I'm fully recovered now and thriving, thankfully.
Good, good.
That's all behind me. But because I do have that history, and like you said, I am very open about it, I attract a lot of people into my life that do have mental and emotional health struggles. And as soon as I started using essential oils in my life, I was just blown away by how they impacted me on a mental health level and then also my emotional health as well. So I just, when you experience something like that, you have to share it with other people. So
Yeah.
I was just helping my clients use essential oils, and then now it's grown into this global online community where I can connect with people like you and help you. Like, it's so cool to me to be like thousands of miles away from you and then help you get these tools into your home. And that's really why I love this so much, because it allows you to have those tools right in your home and feel empowered that way, right? Like, you're not leaning on someone else for all of these tools, right? Because we really do have all of the healing tools we need inside of ourselves. And from over the years, I mean, I've been doing this as a business since 2016. So 4 years later, and it's just so cool to see how many women have really tapped into like their intuition just by using essential oils. And so many people just think they're like pretty smells, but there's so much more to them than that.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, and what you are providing people, it's so much bigger than just here's where you can buy an essential oil. You have created this whole world where, and it makes sense now hearing that you're a spiritual coach and your background, because in this Nourish and Free Collective, there are classes on a lot of different things with the oils, but then there's also like yoga classes and meditations, and it's this recipes. It's this very holistic approach to wellness, and people are getting so much from just being a part of that with you. So that's really neat. And you just reminded me, when I first discovered essential oils, and this friend of mine kept trying to get me to use them, and finally she gave me some for free, to help my son sleep at night. Like, he was stuffed up, so she gave me one, and lo and behold, it worked really well. And then I started using the same oil for my asthma. That worked really well. And I remember getting so angry because I couldn't believe that now that I was 30 or something, and I've been taking these prescriptions and these drugs that had side effects, and I was relying on them, and they're expensive. And I was just so mad that no one had ever told me that something from a plant, something from the earth, could have been healing me this whole time without all those crazy side effects. And so
Right?
I had this like period of anger, and then, made all my family buy these and use them, and then just
Yeah,
went
totally
along
legit.
with my happy life. But
Yeah.
yeah, That's
Yeah, I mean,
fascinating.
for me, like I had a really difficult eating disorder when I was in high school, and I struggled with a lot of depression and anxiety. So I was on, anti-anxiety medication, antidepressants, and just like this cocktail of things. And I just felt so not myself. I was like so tired all of the time. And I mean, I was a teenager in high school, and I
Right.
really don't think anyone should be feeling that way. And I mean, I should just let everyone know that I definitely do recognize and appreciate, plant medicine and then prescription medication. And I totally understand that it is like a lifesaver for some people, for sure.
Yeah.
But the approach that I always come at is, what if you just chose a natural option first and see how that works for you? Because like I said, when I started using essential oils about 4 years ago, I was just so blown away by how they impacted my mental health. And I was like, wow, imagine if I had these in high school. I probably wouldn't have felt so like numbed out all the time. And
Yeah.
they have led, like I said, so many of my clients back to their intuition, and they just feel really awesome about having these tools at their fingertips and being able to make themselves feel better rather than relying on something else. So, yeah, it's been really cool to just see like the impacts that
Hmm.
oils have on so many different people.
Yes, absolutely. And so for about 10 years of my life, I struggled with addiction off and on, and an eating disorder was always kind of paired with that. And I mean, I was really trying to escape in all the ways. And so I really appreciate you talking about the eating disorder. That was something that was like such a secret for me and felt really embarrassing, even more embarrassing to talk about than drug or alcohol addiction, which is almost glamorized. It's like rock stars or, it's a different feeling than talking about an eating disorder. And so, it was just such a big secret of mine, and also like my best friend, and this horrible like relief cycle that I went through, disgust and relief cycle, which I'm sure you understand. And so, once I got clean and sober, which was almost 9 years ago, I still had the eating disorder for 2 to 3 months until I was like, these things can't exist in this world I'm moving into. Like, that can't be a part of my recovery. It can't stay. It doesn't fit, So I thought I wasn't sure I'd ever get over that. I thought it was going to kill me. I'm amazed that my body is still as healthy as it is today. So, and I know that's a part of your journey is healing your body. And yeah, I just thank you. Like, no one ever talks about eating disorders, but I think a lot of people have experienced disordered eating. So I think it's really important to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my first eating disorder was when I was 10. And I probably honestly wouldn't have been so open about it. But there was another girl in my elementary school that was struggling at the time. And my parents just kind of pointed her out to me and was like, you should be open about your story so maybe you could help her. And so I was just kind of like, yeah, sure. I mean, if anyone wants to talk to me, they can always talk to me. And ever since then, I've just always been so open about it. And I don't know exactly why, but I think a lot of it has to do with my parents just encouraging me to share my story because I can help someone.
Yeah, well, it's good that they were supportive in that way. And
Yeah.
clearly, that's just part of your mission in this life is to help
Yeah,
people.
I know. I'm not sure if I think you've dove into human design
A little
before.
bit. It's like it's a little complicated.
It's super complicated. You definitely need, like, one of my best friends is a human design coach, so that helps
Okay.
big time. You're into the Enneagram though. You
Hmm.
know the Enneagram.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember us having a convo about one of those. But yeah, as I learn more and more about my human design type and like why I'm here and like what my mission is, I'm like, oh, wow. Basically, my sole purpose is to help other people learn how to love themselves. And I'm like, wow, that's exactly what my group coaching program is all about.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of what you're doing is all about, that comes down to that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just an umbrella, even with oils, right? Like if you want to
Yeah.
go back to oils, like that, the way I see oils is a way of us taking care of ourselves in a better way, which allows us to love ourselves more when we like show up and take care of ourselves more
Yeah,
intentionally. Hmm.
absolutely. Oh, that's so fun. Okay, so which one are you? Because I have done a couple like tests, and I know I'm a generator, I believe, but I really don't know what that means. So what's yours called?
I know quite a bit about generators. I know quite a bit about all the types, but I'm a
Mhm.
manifester.
Fun.
So basically, we that's the human design type that we're the only type that can actually create energy. So like we create energy, and then basically like my human design coach friend, um, she's a generator. And you guys are here, like you can get so good at this one thing and just be like the master experts at it, which that's not what I'm here
Hmm.
for. And human design has allowed me to really accept myself more because like we're so conditioned, right? Like I see people like you or other generators like my friend be so like experts, like they just have this craft, this one craft, and they're so good at just mastering it. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, I must look so scattered to these people because I'm doing all these things, right? But that's what I'm here to do. Like that's part of being a manifester. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Interesting. Oh,
Mhm.
that's fun. That's fun. And then the Enneagram, I know you share that a lot, and you're a 4.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm definitely a 7. And my personal coach is also a 7. And we'd like connected on that a lot of just this party girls,
Yes,
we're
my
gonna
dad's a
have
7. I love
fun.
7.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'll put some links for people to dive into those things if they're not familiar. It's pretty fun stuff. Um,
Yeah.
so, do you want to talk about any specific oils or specific ways you've used them for emotional healing? I have a few here that I like, and I didn't know if you want to talk
Yeah, which
about
ones
a
do
couple.
you have near?
So, I've got Serenity, which I've been
Mhm.
using for years. I really love it. Just diffused. And then recently, so this was fun. I asked in your group because I wanted to find an oil to add to my meditation practice, which is I've really upped my meditation during quarantine, and it's been amazing. And there was so much input. And so Anchor was one that a lot of people mentioned. So I've been using that. And sometimes I'll
You
put
like
these
it?
like, I do, I really like it. It smells so good. And a friend of mine, he got me a necklace that's a lion, which I'm obsessed with lions, and but it's like a diffuser necklace. So I usually use Anchor in that.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, so sweet. Citrus Bliss is probably my favorite oil besides Breathe, which I use to for asthma, but just for like feeling good, I like this one a lot.
Yeah, all citrus oils are very uplifting. So before we kind of dive into some specific oils, if you want to, I do think it's important to talk about like how essential oils actually work because, like I said, so many people just think they smell really good. So, of course, if you smell something that smells good, you're going to feel good. Or, if
Mm.
you smell something that smells good, you're just going to be like happy or joyful or something like that, right? But when you inhale an essential oil, molecules actually travel through your nose and they bind to receptor sites. And once they bind to receptor sites, they actually send signals to your brain, which cause other chemical reactions in your body to happen. So that's why they can be so impactful for mental and emotional health, is because within like 60 seconds, they're making a contact with your brain and impacting your chemistry in your brain. So whenever people like understand some of the science at least behind essential oils, they can start like appreciating them more and kind of move from seeing them just as something that smells really good to like science, you know? And I don't
Yeah.
know, coming from a nutrition background, I'm pretty into the science, but when I could totally give a whole science lecture here, but I won't do that. But I just want everyone to know that there's actual like compounds inside essential oils, and they really do impact not only our mental and emotional health, but even our physical health. I mean, you mentioned asthma too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Yeah, one of my favorites, I have it right here actually, is frankincense.
Mm.
So this one is super grounding. So if you have any tree oils are all really grounding. Like I said, your citrus bliss oil, so that's like a combo of citrus oils. All citrus oils are really uplifting, which I feel like if you're listening to this, you're probably either like in one camp or the other, right? You're feeling a little bit low and maybe like the depressive side of emotional health right now, and you need that uplifting. So something like citrus bliss, like you said, or any other type of citrus oil, lemon, grapefruit, wild orange is a really good one. You might want to lean towards those essential oils. And then if you're feeling like you need some grounding, like anxiety is something that's more in your life. I know for me, I'm all air signs, like my sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm all,
Oh.
yeah, I have so much air in my chart. So I tend to be like more up here and I need all the grounding. And so I'm really naturally drawn to essential oils from trees like frankincense or sandalwood, cedarwood, black spruce. I'm not sure if you've tried black spruce before.
No.
Yeah, it's a new one of our oils
Okay.
and it's sourced in Canada actually.
Oh.
And it's so gorgeous. But yeah, so leaning towards those tree oils if you're wanting some grounding and relief from anxious feelings.
Oh, that's good to know. I feel like most of us are dealing with stress and anxiety more
Mm-hmm.
than usual these past few months. And that's fun to hear. I have a lot of fire in my chart. It's interesting. My chart is almost half Sagittarius, half Capricorn, but like Leo is my rising, so there's a little extra fire too. So I'm not as airy, but I'm like, ooh, like just excited. Like I'm all excited all the time. So it is good sometimes to really be grounded, come back down to
Yeah,
earth and calm down and, fill into the other emotions. So I really
yeah.
like that.
Well, that anchor oil would be great for you then.
Yeah, I love it so much.
I
Yeah,
do
it's so
believe that
good.
one has frankincense in it. That's one of my favorite blends too. The anchor.
Yeah, I partly chose it because of sandalwood as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's got both of those, or cedarwood. Yeah, it's
One.
got all of them.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
really
good.
nice. Yeah, so they're just amazing tools that so many people are leaning on right now, like you said. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're in a world where people are looking for natural solutions, and also in a world where people need that extra mental and emotional health support.
Yes, and I really appreciate you being willing to share all the science behind it because I've definitely had some good debates in the past with people that, don't believe they do anything. And so it's always nice to have someone who can be a resource and show all kinds of facts for the
Hey,
people that need
send
that. And a
that
lot
over
of,
to me.
yeah, well, and a lot of those people end up being satisfied with the answers and then wanting to use them. So I'm all about healthy skepticism and asking questions. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that's so fun. Okay, well, we don't have to spend a lot of time on the oils, but obviously you're a great resource in general, and I'll be sending people all the links to all your things, and you share really fun things about the oils a lot. So, could you tell me about your inner child group?
Yes. So my inner child healing, it's actually a free 28-day like program that I'm offering through email. I just this is something that really lights me up, and it's goes along with the type of work that I do, but I feel like some people kind of need that little bit of a prep to understand like what is inner child healing, because it's a new concept to a lot of people. So I created a free 20-day course that people can sign up to, just to learn more about inner child healing. And I deliver 4 assignments for 4 weeks. So you'll have like a week to work on things, and everyone's getting really great results, which is really
Oh,
exciting. Yeah, I have done a lot of inner child healing throughout the years, but I think it wasn't until I was going through my spiritual coaching certification that I was like, wow, this is really life changing. I was like always familiar with inner child healing, and I was always kind of doing it, and aware of it. But yeah, going through that certification, I was like, okay, I need to start being like more vocal about this and helping people in this way. So I would love to guide everyone through this free program. They can just sign up through email, and then we have a Facebook group for some extra support and community. I always love offering a little bit more of community. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that sounds so beautiful.
Yeah. Have you gone through the inner child healing course?
No,
Okay. Yeah, you
no.
should sign up. I mean, it's free, like I said. And then if
Wow.
anyone is interested in going deeper and having me coach them, I do have a 12-week small group coaching program. So I like to keep those groups from like about 3 to 5 people.
Hmm.
And this course is called Back Home to You. And it walks you through my 3-phase approach. So we go through a few weeks of observing and learning what that means, and really observing our inner world and our inner dialogue, and learning how to navigate our mind versus controlling our mind and thoughts, because that's not the approach that we want to take through our self-healing journeys. And then we go into a reprogramming phase. So that's really where you take what you learned when you were observing everything those past 4 weeks, and then we start looking at like, okay, what would it be like if we rewrote our story and rewired our brains and really started reprogramming the way that we used to operate, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And then the last phase is the nurturing phase. So that's really like the reparenting phase, really learning what it looks like and means to take care of yourself. I'm all about talking about self-care, but not in the way that most people talk about self-care.
Hmm.
I take a very holistic approach to self-care, and it's not like the paint your nails and have a bubble bath type of self-care. We're really getting into things like boundaries and what it really means to take care of yourself, and like I said, the reparenting process of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. It
Yeah.
must feel really good to be doing that and hearing results from people and just what fulfilling work.
Yeah, I really love it. Like I said, I started off as a nutritionist, but it just, the whole like leading people to really understand what it means to love themselves came so naturally to me. And for so many years, I think people kind of looked at the work that I did, and, talking about self love. I had so many people say that it's like so fluffy, or, like unicorns or whatever. But I remember this one person saying that it was like, well, you do that like fluffy work. And I was like, okay, you'll
Oh,
be you'll be coming back to me in like 10 years after, you realize that that's what you needed all along. We're taught that like it starts with food, or it starts with exercise, or it starts with food and exercise, but it always starts with you, right?
Yeah.
It's that inner work, and that's where you're going to see the biggest changes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally echo your feelings with nutrition coaching. And when I became a health coach, I mean, I loved school, I loved everything I learned. And as I started coaching people, it wasn't long before I switched to calling myself a life coach because it didn't make sense to talk about food. We all know to eat vegetables, you know what I mean? And it was like, if you're having an issue around food, food isn't the issue. That's a symptom of something inside of you. And so it always instantly went deeper if people were willing to.
Yeah.
And that's where the change happens, because if you're not working on that inner work, then no matter how you eat, things aren't going to go right, you know? So I love, love, love that you're doing this work, and
Thanks,
it's
girl.
really exciting.
Yeah, I actually went to school. I studied dietetics. So when I was going through high school, I was working with a dietitian, and I thought she was just like the most amazing person. Like, she helped me so much. And I thought it was her being a dietitian that really helped me. But now, like, looking back on that, right? Like, gosh, over 10 years later, looking back on that, I see that I was more so seeing her as just like this support and this almost a therapist to me, right? So, anyways, I went to university for dietetics, and now I'm like, that's like not really what I was actually after in the first place, right?
Right. But your smoothie bowls are on point.
Have you tried
So my boyfriend and I are going to try some this weekend
one?
because
Okay,
he's
awesome.
a vegan and he's really into getting creative with things like that. And I watched one of your stories and I'm like, there is a sweet potato in her smoothie and cauliflower. And we're like,
And that's like
blew
it.
our minds. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet
So
potato, cauliflower, some cocoa powder, and then some protein powder, and use whatever nut milk that you want. And it seriously tastes like soft serve. It's so good.
I mean, it looks good. No, we're definitely trying it because, especially someone like him, who it's really important to him to be vegan. And I'm always like, make sure you're eating enough. So to
Yeah.
have like all that extra in there, it's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Oh,
That's
it's a
funny.
solid smoothie for sure. Like, my bowls are just overflowing, and I always have this one friend that DMs me whenever she sees the picture of my smoothies, and she's like, I honestly don't understand how you like can eat all of that in one sitting. I'm like, I have no issue with it.
Like, I got it. Thanks.
I got it.
Oh, that's so cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for chatting with me today. And, I hope that people will be inspired to dive deeper. I feel like 100% the best investment we can make is with ourselves, and whether that's essential oils or doing the inner child work, all of that is an investment in us. And this year is super intense, and I know a lot is coming up for people. And I want those resources to be flowing for everyone who's ready and willing to feel better and figure out how to move through these things instead of running away from them, so
Yeah.
that, things can really evolve. So thank you for
Well, you're doing amazing work. So again, thank you for inviting me on your show and having this
yeah,
conversation.
yeah, thank you so much. I'll make sure everyone knows where to find you.